Show me your moves.
All right, round two. Grab that sweet baby race because it's time for episode 46 of Geek Life Live, your source for all the nerdy news you need to know. I am your host, the Dodd, the streamer this podcast needs, but not the one it deserves. And joining me today is a man whose headband says supreme, but his beard screams, "Ask the sea for mercy." Jake the Great, aka Gonzo Gone Live. How are you doing today, Jake?
Doing great, man. Just out here living the dream. Living the dream. How about yourself?
Living the dream. I'm doing good. Trying to live the best post-apocalypse life, and go out there finally. Now that we can feel like we can go outside, and back again this week with more samples than a TGIF. It's Kev, aka Totally Awesome. Great to have you back on the show. How have you been, man?
I've been fantastic. I love that intro, by the way. Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
really
As I
good
said
one.
before,
Shout out to our writer.
S tier, absolutely.
S tier.
I try.
Bars.
Bars.
Yeah, there you go. How have you guys been surviving the post-apocalypse? I know that I've been, going out there playing games. I've been getting a lot more into Pokemon VGC and doing a lot more Unite, but I've been getting out and about more. I haven't had much time to spend playing games. I do want to get to that Guardians of the Galaxy game, but Kev, you've been dabbling a little bit of that, haven't you?
Well, I just got it. I've been too busy having 2K suck the money and soul out of my life, so I'm looking here to definitely get into it. I just got it Friday, so I might check it out this week sometime. And of course, it also comes out. I'm very much looking forward to shifting gears into that. Heard nothing but good things. So yeah, vroom vroom.
Nice. And Jake, what about you? How are you surviving the post-apocalypse?
Just been binging some of the new season of Doom Patrol. I've been trying to finish up Ghost of Tsushima also, and that way I can directly dive into Guardians of the Galaxy.
I need a PS5, man. I do.
I'm gonna do it too. As soon as I get the money for it and I get the time for it, I'm gonna hopefully go on stream, and it's gonna be my variety stream. But I'm trying to, as I said before, I'm gonna be trying to do Pokemon. Well, I said this on Silphco. I'm gonna be trying to do Pokemon at least once a week. I think it's good for me. I think it's the sport, the game that I want to play competitively. So, and with in real life tournaments, and I think that's gonna be more important coming up. I do want to announce for everybody here that we do have some new emotes in chat. Twitch is betaing follower emotes, which are emotes for followers that you can only be used in this channel. So we've got a couple of emotes. As you see the big Fax one that Littlest Nelly's showing off there. We've got a Sax emote for when Sax is on here. We've got a Savage emote for Savage because he's the Geek Life cheerleader and he's always there for everyone's stream, so he gets his own emote. We've got a Sag Rage emote for Sag Gaming, who always likes to tell us how terrible we're being, even though he's always support us from the beginning too. So like it's a love-hate relationship. And we also
tough love.
It's tough love, right? And we also have another version of one of my favorite emotes, which is the Jake Mugatu "So Hot Right Now" emote, which is little Mugatu with the Supreme headband on there that says "So Hot Right Now." So you can use those when deemed necessary, and make sure to use them a lot. Yeah. Anyways, let's get on to it. Yeah. If you're new to the show, we're about a 2-hour mashup of all the pop culture news you know and love. We talk about your favorite shows, movies, video games, and digital universe ruled by capitalist overlords. And if you like what you see or hear on the show tonight, be sure to comment, subscribe, and to all of our social medias. There's a link tree in our bio. For even more content, you can follow any of us on our personal socials. You can find me at Roos Bane on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. Jake, where can they find you?
You can find me at Gonzo Gone Live on both the Twitch and the Twitterverses.
And Kev, what about you?
You can find me at Totally Awesome.
All right.
That's it.
So we've got a great show planned for you guys. Jake, why don't you go ahead and hit us with that rundown?
Awesome. Thanks, Dad. Run so down, Lord have mercy. We've got an amazing show for y'all tonight. First up, from Animal Crossing 2.0 to Boondock Saints 3.0, we've got all of the nerdy news you need to know, and that's bars. Then we're future forecasting in this week's mod, where we're talking G4 and what's in store. Bars again. Next,
Wow.
we're diving deep in this week's deep dive on the value of $60, a hot debate in this week's Discord chat. And finally, we're going to be wrapping things up with this week's Top Zen, which isn't our top 10, but your top 10 MCU films of all time. Thanks to everyone who voted, by the way. Now that we've ran that down, Kev, give those people those headlines, but first, Doodle, do that dandy.
Tonight at 11.
In other news,
Yeah, I don't know if I hear it on the I mean, I can listen to the thing here.
Thanks, Jake. First up, we've got a new sport coming to the Olympics. League of Legends could become an Olympic event. While that concept might sound baffling to some, developer Riot Games has confirmed that it has been in discussions with those in charge of the Olympics to make the mega popular MOBA a title that could be involved in the world's biggest sporting event. Even though there's no guarantee that this will ever actually come to fruition, Riot believes that it has a good chance to bring LOL to the Olympics soon enough. Speaking to Dexter O in a recent interview, those at Riot Games confirmed that they have talked to the Olympics committee about including League of Legends in the games in the future. In recent years, LOL has been recognized as an official event at the Asian Games, which leads Riot to believe that it could one day get folded into the Olympics as well. As a whole, the idea of esports being recognized as at the Olympics is something that has slowly been gaining momentum for quite some time, and while this idea might simply remain just that for the foreseeable future, it seems likely only a matter of time until video games end up being involved with the Olympics in some capacity. I mean, curling's a sport, guys. Come on,
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's only fair.
It's only fair. Speaking of only fair, wow. Dwayne Johnson movies will no longer use real guns on set after the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust. Actor and producer Dwayne Johnson has pledged not to use real guns on set. During an interview with Variety, the 49-year-old former wrestler confirmed he will only use prop replica weapons in the future. I can't speak for anyone else, but I can tell you without an absence of clarity here that any movie that we have moving forward with $7 production, any movie, any television show, or anything we do or produce, we won't use real guns at all, he said. We're going to switch over to rubber guns, and we're going to take care of it in post, he said. We're not going to worry about the dollars. We won't worry about what it costs. Dwayne Johnson's latest movie, Red Notice, followed strict safety protocols on set, but following the tragic death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins, on set of Rush, Johnson has pledged to ensure the safety of his crew. Boondock Saints 3 in the works with Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery returning. The McManus brothers are returning to the silver screen. As of Monday afternoon, Boondock Saints 3 is officially in development with Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery both set to return as Connor Murphy McManus. Troy Duffy, the creator of the franchise and helmer of the first two films, is also returning to direct the threequel. Duffy and Flannery wrote the script for the follow-up, which is expected to begin filming next May, per the reporting from Deadline. Duffy, Reedus, and Flannery are all listed as executive producers on this package. After flying on the radar at the box office in 1999, the original Saints flick quickly became a cult classic, and according to the latest report, the producers hope to turn it into a John Wick-type global action franchise. Next, Animal Crossing New Horizons 2.0 update is live. Grab your notepads because here's everything you need to know. It's beefy. Nintendo has done a sneaky and set its massive 2.0 update on Animal Crossing Live. The update was set to launch on Friday, November 5th, but it has gone up early. We time traveled here, but you get what I'm saying. As the company revealed during its Animal Crossing Direct presentation on October 15th, this will be the game's final major free update, but it introduces a ton of new features and content to the popular Switch Life sim, and is arriving alongside a paid DLC expansion that adds even more to do. First up, Brewster's Cafe. The Roost is back. The cafe will be located on the second floor of your island's museum. You can grab a cup of coffee and even run into other islanders who are taking a break there. Cap'n is also at your island's pier. For Nook Miles, Cap'n can take your boat, tour once per day, ferrying you to mysterious islands with new flora or a different season or time of day. Island ordinances from Animal Crossing's New Leaf are also returning. You can choose an ordinance to further tailor the experience to play your style. Alongside the free 2.0 update, Nintendo is releasing a paid DLC expansion for Animal Crossing New Horizons called Happy Home Paradise. The Happy Home Paradise DLC costs $25. It is also included for free as part of the new Switch Online Plus expansion pack tier, and individual subscriptions to the expanded service cost $50 a year, while an annual family plan, which covers up to 8 different Nintendo accounts across multiple systems, costs $80. Looks like there's going to be a lot of Cozy Corner content coming up soon, guys. Finally, Eternals review bombed before its release. Eternals is under attack, but not for the deviants, but from the act of review bombing. Eternals is the latest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and is one of the most anticipated films for many, as it is the first MCU film with the Academy Award-winning director at the helm and an all-star cast. Eternals is set to feature a lot of firsts for the MCU. Kevin Feige, director Chloe Zhao, and the studio have talked much about the film's diverse cast and strives for inclusion, as it will include the first openly gay superhero in the MCU, Brian Tyree Henry's Phastos, as the first deaf superhero, Lauren Ridolph's Makari. Zhao even said that she hopes that Marvel Studios does not censor the movie for overseas audiences. Marvel Studios is making an active effort to make their films more accessible and diverse so that everyone can see themselves reflected as a superhero. But it appears a subset of people have taken issue with this, surprise, surprise, and brought it upon themselves to review bomb the film. The direct report that IMDb's rating for Eternals was flooded with negative reviews a week before the film's theatrical release, with over 400 one-star reviews. Jesus Christ, guys. A common point of criticism among those leaving negative reviews is the inclusion of a gay kiss in the film's LGBTQI+ representation. The thoughts of those committing the review bombing only make up a small group of people that rarely translate to the general public discourse. Despite the attempts to make Captain Marvel look like film audience hated it, grossed $426 million at the domestic box office, over $1 billion worldwide, and became the 5th highest grossing film of the 2019 worldwide. Star Wars The Last Jedi grossed $1.3 billion worldwide and was the highest grossing film at the 2017 domestic and worldwide box office. Marvel Studios doesn't appear to have been deterred by the reaction to Eternals, particularly from an audience that has not seen it yet, and has indicated this is only the beginning of a more inclusive and global MCU. Good job, Marvel. Guys, what do you guys think about this review bombing of the Eternals?
I went to see the Eternals. Phastos is the character that I think has caused the most controversy, right? And it's because he's shown with his husband and everything like that. We should be past this at this point. I think that this is something that we really should be past. But of course, in countries like China and Russia and stuff like that, obviously they had a big problem with it. I think the big point here is that Disney did stick by it. I don't really want to say kudos to Disney for anything really, but like that was decent, you know? But I saw the movie. I thought it was a decent movie. I did like Phastos' character mostly because you know, as a queer man, he was still a very masculine man. He was still aggressive, and there was at one point where he was even holding down essentially the Superman of the show. But I will put it to you this way. I thought Cyborg was great. I thought Superman was great. I thought Wonder Woman was fantastic. I thought Flash was great. And I didn't understand why they split Martian Manhunter into 3 different characters. But hey, you know, they had to do what they had to do. Other than that, like, I think that anyone that's seen it, I think will get my point there. But I think the movie can deserve
spoilers.
The movie deserves.
The Flash is in this. DC crossover finally happened.
Worlds collide.
No. I mean, like you'll get what I'm saying once I see it, but none of that stuff is actually true. If you couldn't catch on.
Just like, whoa, shit.
You're being sarcastic. I see what you did there.
Yeah, that's that clever
Your sarcasm does not translate in my language. We just got canceled in Deutschland. God damn it.
Yeah, there you go.
I speak
We're
German.
all three of our Deutschland viewers were, we just got off there. But anyways, I do like how Fasters was portrayed in there, so I think that is really, really cool. I am super excited to see League of Legends becoming a official esport, or the possibility of it becoming an esport. What do you guys think about that? What does that mean for esports as a whole? Do you guys think League of Legends should be the one to get it? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think I think it's about time, right? Like if you play competitive gaming, like it's a fucking skill, and ultimately like everyone's like, oh, video games aren't sport. Well, the sport really is just competition. So there you go.
No, I don't. I think if any esport is going to come out and make it into the Olympics, it's probably going to be League of Legends. It's one of the like most. I think it's one of the bigger kind of like competitive games out there. It has been for so long. It's kind of like held that like that. It's been hard to reach, right? Like we've hit some other ones. Like Fortnite's had a big one. I mean, shit, you're a big part of the competitive Pokemon kind of scene and everything, and so it's just. But League of Legends is on a whole nother level, I think like what that could do, and like Kev, you said it jokingly, but like curling's an Olympic sport, where what we have as Olympic sports and like what justifies a sport.
But here's
is kind of like
here's my caveat though. Here's my caveat though. Like, how much money does League of Legends get out of this? Right, like obviously there is a sport.
Oh, I get that.
Like with football, like there's obviously money made out of football, right? But like as an idea, the football as a sport was like the idea kind of transcends money. I don't know if the idea of League of Legends can transcend the capitalist entity that it is. Like I don't know if you can really get past it being a money making entity. It's gonna at very minimum be an advertisement for the game.
I mean, the Olympics itself aren't like the shining example for standards and honor, right? Like there's corruption there. So I mean, I just think in the terms of it being a sport, and I think just kind of where the world is headed, and I think the respect that esports kind of should be getting by now, I think it's kind of overdue, and I think that's just the natural, I guess, direction I see that this is going. It kind of makes sense at this point where it's like, I mean, you can get a fucking college scholarship playing League of Legends, and not just like some BS scholarship. Like if you've seen some of these like collegiate gaming setups, like these, it's like the equivalent. Like I think like someone did a tour for University of Kentucky's like gaming team. It's like it looks like Bama's locker room, right? Like it's got all. Yeah, it's crazy. So I mean, the money's there, and I think that's the point, right? Like, the money is there. The Olympics are going to do it.
I get what you're saying, Dot. I think that is an interesting kind of like part of it, is that it's like it is a game that is owned by a corporation. It's not a game like basketball that none of us own. No one owns basketball. No one owns curling. No one owns the 100-yard dash, right? Like there's no like IP or anything like that there. There is actual IP with this game that would be being played.
Right.
I would think that like, we would hopefully be able to come to some agreement with Blizzard or whoever, like with like the provider, and be like, it is essentially an advertisement for your game that we're playing it in the Olympics. So there shouldn't be an additional kind of like, barrier to entry there. But like, it's still an interesting point that I've never really thought of. So that's
probably something they're working out.
It's kind of a barrier when you think of esports becoming Olympic sports, right?
Yeah. No, I think that it is like, I do want, like, I want it to happen. And the reason I want it to happen because it's a closer step to, all esports becoming a part of that. But I do wonder what kind of happens when you start mixing those markets. And also, I don't want to put this in a slippery slope argument, but in the essence of like, if League of Legends is allowed to do it with their game, like why can't we do it with, some other kind of entities? And then it just becomes, the Olympics becomes, NASCAR.
Advertising, billboard. Yeah.
I think, stuff like that's going to be made in a decision like any other Olympic game that's being added or taken away. Like they just finished, we just decided to replace an equestrian Olympic sport with like a biking one, I think, because of like all of this stuff that's been coming out about abuse to the horses and everything within that competition. And so like, there's like, there's a group of people who make these decisions. So they would decide which games are played. But there is a huge capitalistic aspect to it where it's like that game is an IP that is owned by somebody else, right? No matter what the game is that they, like, I mean, shit, I would love to see, games like even not necessarily in the Olympics, but things like Madden, 2K, there's a lot of esports like those that, are super competitive. They have huge competition, like things behind them.
Yeah.
But if they're not almost sponsored by Madden or like EA or 2K or like any of those guys, it doesn't happen because like they own the rights to it,
Yeah.
So
And it's not even that in general, right? Like even just esports now, right? Like if like an esport, like say like Overwatch has their own league, right? Like Overwatch League. But
Yeah,
there's a
right.
lot, and then like, and a lot of these companies are doing their own thing. Rainbow Six does it, League of Legends does it, but then you have the ESL who kind of just does it like just as a league for the game itself. I think it's like like unfortunately an unavoidable consequence, and I think that's kind of where like probably some of the red tape and issues are coming to head, where it's like, okay, we're gonna put you in the Olympics. That's advertisement enough, and I think.
yeah,
I
it should
think
be, right?
Yeah.
It should be, and I think Riot Games kind of sees that, where it's like I don't think they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot for the sake of just trying to sort of get the juice out of every squeeze from the fucking Olympics. I just I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily put it past like a corporation like that, especially given Riot's history. But I just think it just does more benefit for them just to even have. They're going to be the inaugural esports, and essentially the sort of benchmark of what an esport is, in the Olympics. Yeah.
But I guess in other like in one of the other headlines, how awesome was this move by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in saying that they're not going to use real movies on sets anymore, and follow up to that, why the fuck are we still even using real guns anyway? Like what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
I think it's a good point. I think it's a good point. I hate that I have to say this, but it is 2021. I hope this isn't just a move before he tries to run for president and like try to show he's a good guy.
I was thinking
because-
it, but I was
yeah.
I
know,
didn't
then
want
it
to
would
say
show
it.
he's anti-gun, and I'll tell you
We-
what,
at least
that'd
it
be a
shows
bad
he's
move.
anti-gun. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's a reasonable approach. I mean, if we can do it in post, why even put the risk out there?
Yeah,
Especially if we
forget he
know
says the cost,
instances-
but the cost has to be minimal at this point. It's 2021,
like we know
fucking-
from the instance with the crow that even blanks are dangerous, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
of how the different types of blanks that you want to use, right? And I've learned so much about how fucking prop guns work after this whole incident happened, and I'm sure people did after the incident with the crow. There was even an incident where someone put a prop gun up to their head with a blank and pulled the trigger, and that did kill them because there is still parts of a
Right.
bullet in there,
Yeah.
and so I think that it's a really good move. I think that it's like in all these interviews, like there's all these newscasters like, why do people still use real guns when we can just easily do this in post?
Yeah.
And they're like, money? Like
Yeah.
they don't know, right? There's like I
Yeah.
think like what they want to say is like some actors really just want the feel of it in their hands or something like that. But I don't know, like, does that even work? Like, I don't know. I think
I-
this is a
I
good
feel
move
like
by
I
The
wish
Rock. I hope
this
others
was-
follow his lead, is what I'll say.
I feel like Braun has some better insights.
Yeah,
But I think it's more
hope we
like
can talk to Broad soon. She's been super
Yeah.
busy, but hopefully we can get her on one of the shows so she can talk about everything going on with Rust.
the doodler says post work, and I think that's what it
Yeah.
is, right? I think it is ultimately it costs the studio more money. That's my
Well,
guess.
bro, when 80% of movies are fucking made in post now, like it just seems like
But those guns, Jan, you don't know. They're
like,
tricky.
it seems like such a minute, like it seems like such a non-issue when you like
Yeah.
really think about like, and I'm not like some super insider, but like I fucking read enough and watch enough movies and have enough friends that work within the industry that it's like it's a lot of movies it's just cleaned up in post, like a lot of it. And so it's just like, why not just put the extra money towards it just to keep people safe? It's kind of bizarre to me that we're still even using real guns. But like the fact that they had live ammunition on a set is what fucking like really confuses me. Like if you're gonna use
That's
real guns,
what's
I get it. Then there's some dummy
Yeah.
ammunition laying around or whatever. What the fuck was there live bullets laying around for? Were they afraid coyotes were gonna run up or something? Like that's the part that really like I just have a hard
So
time
There's a
understanding.
number
My-
of different stuff going on with that I think is just crazy that I've seen there.
Yeah.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
My
no,
thing is
that would be a whole
my
deep
guess-
dive because there's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
conspiracies coming out around it. Like
Because my
so-
guess would have been like, okay, fine. Like if there was no live ammunition, like a bulk or box of live ammunition, fine. Maybe it's like just a bad batch of like blanks or dead ammunition, right? Like one just slipped through the cracks and it's unfortunate, right?
Yeah, we're
Which
saying
also,
live
like,
ammunition a lot. We may get demonetized.
Yeah. Live Nerf rounds. No.
Yeah.
I just
bang
Yeah,
fights.
yeah. I mean, it's weird that we're still doing it. I think it's a good move. It's the right move. I will say that for what The Rock is doing. I mean, another change. I just hope he doesn't run for president, right? Because something's gonna come up, guys. Something. It always does.
Oh,
it
yeah.
always does. It does. And yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyways.
that was a
Pistachio in
huge.
comments said was talking about using real guns on set with the boss. We both agree that they probably didn't need to use a real gun except in certain shots with blanks. I think there are. I mean, there could be certain shots where it's completely safe, but I think that like I'm with The Rock on this. Why even take the risk? Like, just go for it. You know, like
Shots with
just
blanks,
go
I
put it in
get. It's
post.
having real ammunition on a movie set with the real guns is kind of like a bizarre choice in general to me. Like, what are you shooting? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't
I agree.
like. And so, but we had a huge Animal Crossing update.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about all the news that came out with that? Do you think it's worth diving back in?
I mean, I
Well-
think it definitely Cozy Corner will. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
for that.
personally over here, Jessica has been playing it nonstop since the
Nice.
update come out. She's already got Brewster. Happy Home Academy has completely taken over our house. Constant remodeling of other people's homes has become her go-to for just warmth. And
Yeah.
so,
And
but
as
yeah,
little Nelly's pointing out in chat there, look at our non-binary icon Sasha, which is the actual image that's in there for the Animal Crossing update. So yeah,
Nice.
more representation. We always like that.
There you
But that is not all the news that we have for this week, right? Our top story this week is Facebook changing its name to Meta. Kinda. In recent months, you may have heard something called themselves the Metaverse. Maybe you read that the Metaverse is going to replace the internet. Maybe we're all supposed to live there. Maybe Facebook or Epix or Roblox or a dozen of other smaller companies is trying to take it over. And maybe it's got something to do with NFTs. Unlike anything we cover, the Metaverse is tough to explain for one reason. It doesn't necessarily exist. It's partially a dream for the future of the internet and partially a neat way to encapsulate some current trends in online infrastructure, including the growth of real-time 3D worlds. But let's get to the fun part. Will you start checking your Facebook feed in Fortnite with a pair of augmented reality goggles? Will your friends invite you to a cyber brunch instead of a normal brunch? Time to jack in and figure it out. What is the Metaverse? There is no universally accepted definition of the real metaverse, except that it's maybe a fancier successor to the internet. Silicon Valley metaverse prominents sometimes reference a description from venture capitalist Matthew Ball, or author of the extensive metaverse primer. The metaverse is an extensive network of persistent, real-time rendered 3D worlds and simulations that support continuity of identity, objects, history, payments, and entitlements, and can be experienced synchronously by effectively an unlimited number of users, each with an individual sense of presence. Oh, that was a mouthful. Facebook, arguably the tech company with the biggest stake in the metaverse, describes it more simply. The metaverse is a set of virtual spaces where you can create and explore with other people who aren't in the same physical space as you.
that's a little easier.
That's a lot easier. That's a lot easier to understand. Then
VR Chat 2.0. Yeah.
Yeah, VR 2.0. What is Meta, Jake? Is it just VR Chat 2.0?
Well, so that's what's interesting about this whole thing is that Meta is going to be the new name of the holding company for Facebook. Facebook itself is still going to be just Facebook, right? So,
Right.
you know, like, and so it's,
Google has Alphabet, Facebook has Meta.
Exactly, but like it's essentially going to be they're trying to bring in, you know, they bought Oculus. They've really been making all of this work to try to like expand Wi-Fi ranges. They've tried to make it where basically no matter where you live, you could live online in some sort of way. That's a big part of it. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but Facebook has also been bankrolling like Wi-Fi drones that fly around in some areas. And so anyway,
They call
like
it Skynet.
well, that, oh my God.
That would be.
Oh no, that was
Anyway,
Microsoft.
Little on the nose, yeah, but it is basically what it is, right? It's Sky
Yeah.
Internet, like, but So they've been trying to make this move to where we can all basically live online. Like, I really think Mark does believe in a future similar to Ready Player One, where folks are kind of like just jacking in with their headset and jacking off with their friends. I mean, sorry, that was there. Sorry, that was there. I just had to.
Low hanging fruit, Jake. Low hanging fruit.
Quite literally.
What is meta to you, Kev? Or is that the same thing? Yeah.
No, I think it's I agree with Jake. I think when I first saw it, I thought it was like, oh, it's Alphabet. It's just their holding company, so they can not be liable for the nefarious things they really want to do, like robots. And that's probably true to some extent. But I think also it is going to be a metaverse, as you so eloquently just described, and it's kind of scary.
What is this?
Mostly because it's Mark Zuckerberg. Like, I think it's just like,
he's very very robotic human with a
the
lot
sweet
of,
baby rays was telling
Just
of me.
smoking some meats.
Let's just put
That
it
was-
ethical
that was
blind
a
spots.
glitch.
He's got a lot of
Yes.
those, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. What does this mean for Facebook users though? Should our moms freak out, Kev?
I think they're gonna freak out just because they might not figure out where to go for Facebook, even though it'll still be facebook.com. No, I think I mean, it's based off of what Jake said. They might freak out. Shit, man, that can get pretty dark. But I don't know. I think it all depends, man. Like, this could be, I'll be Mr. Optimist here. It could just be a new, like, sort of way of propelling the next step of social media and the internet, right? Where it's like, okay, right now it's just screens, right? Like, you're separated, but the next step is connection and literal connection where you're actually in the world. And then we're just in Black Mirror or sort of online.
Yeah,
That wasn't as optimistic as I hoped, but
yeah.
yeah.
What do you think, Jake? Should our moms freak out?
I mean, nah, like, Facebook's gonna stay the same. I think for what this means for content creators and, just different folks that I think that are, if you've already used VR chat, if you've been into VR, if you've already kind of like bought into it as a future tech, then this is a really cool announcement for you.
Yeah.
You really think that probably, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, one of the largest social medias in the world, that literally just prints money. I don't think people understand how just easily or how much money Facebook just makes to where it can throw at this for funsies, right? And so, like, if Zuckerberg really thinks he can get us sucked into where we're all online through headsets that are offered by, his Meta company, and it's basically just a new portal for advertising. And so, like, it's all going to end up being for more advertising in the long run. But I mean, anything to push VR, really, in my opinion. But I don't think our mom should freak out. Like Kev said, Facebook's still going to be Facebook. As long as they can still find how to post pictures of their grandbabies, they'll be okay.
And unfortunate memes.
And by that, I mean my dogs.
You gonna be living in the metaverse one day, Kev?
Will I be living in it? You know, I want to say that I won't, but just like how I try to rebel briefly against MySpace, I probably will.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be checking it out.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be one of those things, right? We're gonna like delay for like long enough, and then it's just like, fuck. Well, everybody's there. I might as well get into.
Right. Or sit out here with fucking fascists. Like,
Hey, go for it. Just balls to the wall,
know?
because it's one of those things where, like, I've never went like hard on something right when it started. You know what I mean? Like, and so like I get sick and tired of looking at YouTube videos and going, ah, man, if I would have fucking did that 10 years ago, there's no telling how many like views I would have. You know, like, and so I'm going all in on the metaverse. I'm getting a headset.
Did that. I felt like
I'm becoming like, hey, welcome to Meta. It's your boy Jake Tyler. You know, like, all in VR.
I would love to buy all into it as well. Is this dystopia yet, Jake?
Oh yeah, no, we've definitely been living in a boring dystopia. We're already there, and so now it's just up to Daddy Mark to make it even more exciting. And if we can get some Ready Player One action going, then shit. I think people rather be going home hungry and playing cool video games than going home hungry and not having cool video games.
Yeah. And to Supersonic Flash's point, it's also healthier than most video games because it keeps you active. You're not just sitting in a chair all day like
yeah.
I am, you know.
Yeah,
I
these
get a
gamer
whole
chairs
bunch
can be
of
the death of you.
I can get a whole
Yeah.
bunch of like neck aches and stuff like that, and neck and shit from just
My neck, my back.
yeah, all of it, man. Never mind. Well, that's all the news that we have for you guys this week. But up next, we're future forecasting one of the internet's favorite channels, G4. Doodle, do the dandy.
Like a good show would be like Bob Ross, but with
After
cages.
more than a year of teasing and occasional streams, G4 will make its return as a linear TV channel on November 16th. So far, the channel is confirmed to appear on Comcast, Xfinity, Verizon, Fios, Cox, and Philo. Since announcing its
Yes.
return last year, G4 has put some reunion content out on occasional plus occasional streams on Twitch, where the network will maintain a fully multi-year promotional and commercial partnership. Though the original G4 faded out when it got rebranded as the Esquire channel about 8 years ago, the network's new
God.
mantra is that we never stop playing. Network president Russell Aarons writes in a statement that G4 can't wait to have our fans join us in a hilarious and fairly preposterous sandbox. When G4 comes back next month, some of the programming and hosts should be very familiar. Attack of the Show is back with Kevin Pereira, while Xplay Xplay, no longer X-Play, it's just one word, Xplay, is again in the review business under the auspices of Adam Sessler. Along with some esports-focused series, G4 has also obtained U.S. streaming rights to Ninja Warrior for old school fans who watch the original Japanese version on its cable channel. First off, guys, what are you guys most excited about from the return of G4? Kev?
Someone to do the job I interviewed for but didn't get. No, but seriously, just I think just all like the characters and personalities that I grew up with, discussing and presenting my favorite medium, right? I think like this was like God man, this is kind of bittersweet. But it's like it's one of these things where it's like I was so bummed when it went away, and I still feel that void. And now that it's coming back, I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I don't know how I don't know. Like I know I'm excited. I do know that, but I don't know how I'm going to absorb it, if that makes sense.
I don't either. I think that it's going to be coming on the Hulu Live subscription that I have. I think that
Okay.
that's the same thing as Comcast.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I'm
it
hoping
is.
that I still, yeah. And so if that's the case, then I should be able to get it. And like, I mean, guys, like we don't have to do a show anymore. We're good. Like we're done.
No, we have to do the show, so then we get picked up by them, and then
Exactly. Yeah,
goes
that's-
full circle. Boom, we're on G4 with Geek Life.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Coming
we could
up,
run. We could run
prime
a
slot,
side
baby.
show to Attack of the Show.
Sundays at 7 in the morning, right after those televangelists infomercials, man,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
the
I'd
girls
love to
gone
do a
wild,
Sunday service.
wild ones.
Yeah.
What?
I literally just put in the G4 Twitch shout out thing that hey, we're literally talking about G4 right now. How meta? So we'll see.
Yeah.
How meta.
How meta? Because they have a little streamer shout outs thing. I mean, the whole idea of G4 now is going to be much more. I mean, what's different about gaming now than it was then? It's the streamer. It's the
Right.
whole idea of streaming in general.
Right.
Yeah.
And how gaming so with the death of couch co-op came streaming, right? Where we all are now sharing our games now by broadcasting them.
Mhm.
And having others join. And I think it's really fun. It is a high economic bar for entry. I don't like that about it, but seeing how G4 adapts to that, I think is going to be really, really big. And it also, I mean, it provides them with tons of different content too. I mean, you can find clips from different gamers out there, or just have some of your hosts be streaming as well. So I'm very interested to see how Twitch integrates itself with the cable network of G4. But what are you most excited about, Jake?
Yeah, I really think that's kind of like in the same vein as that it's well, first it's going to be great to have some of the originals back. You know, I grew up with Sessler, I
Yeah.
grew up with a lot of these guys just on TV reviewing games, talking about them, so it's familiar faces,
Yeah.
and so it's going to be great to kind of have them back, but then also seeing that if we can kind of have a little bit more video game and streamer representation on normal cable television would be interesting too. I think Twitch and everything kind of has taken over since G4 left, and now that it's back, it can almost be because I think channels like ESPN get shit whenever they're showing stuff like the Fortnite kind of championships.
Yeah.
But if a channel like G4 can lock down Fortnite championships, League championships, what's the other one? Overwatch, all these big games and kind of like some of their big money, some of their big events, that'll drive viewership. I definitely think they're gonna have to get into some sort of subscription, some sort of like something, because like I'm not buying cable again. But
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't snipe my Hulu Live when I have it because it only does the one address. So
It's so stupid.
yeah,
Not just one address.
I'm not going to
unfortunately,
confirm or deny if I work at a company that actually our client is Hulu's a client of ours. That the whole thing is that's what we do. We make sure that you're in the right
flex it,
location.
comrade. Come on, get you
Yeah.
that
What
that
annoys
account.
me, and it's going to sound like a super first world problem, is I have two internet networks.
Yeah.
And sometimes I switch them around, right? So I can get the best out of like my super fast one, and the other one's just like, for whatever, because it was free with my apartment. But
Oh,
when I
there you go.
switch them, that counts as an address change.
What?
So I can't do it anymore. Yeah, so I didn't know that, and now I'm stuck. It's stuck on the one. I can't fucking switch it off, man.
Oh,
That
damn.
sucks.
That's
Yeah,
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're different IP addresses. So, but anyway.
Man.
Yeah.
Them's the breaks.
Do you think
Yeah.
we'll have? Do you guys think that G4 is gonna have the same viewership that to stay on TV again? Do you think it's gonna keep people there? Like, do you think it's
That's-
gonna survive again, or we're gonna have another Esquire rebrand that happens?
Tricky.
down
I
the
don't.
road?
That's tricky because I don't think a company like as large as Universal Comcast. I think just Comcast. Yeah. I don't think a company as large as that would just put put money into G4. Just be like, this will probably shit the bed. Like,
Yeah.
I think they've done enough. I'm assuming they've done enough research. I'm like, okay, there's an untapped market here. There's a plethora of streaming services. We can be ubiquitous in the sense that we can be on all of them at the same time. But there's also a void to be filled here, right? Like Jake was mentioning, we can sort of broadcast those esports championship games. And, people are cutting cable, but people are still watching ESPN. They're just not watching it on a cable box. So I think that's where they're gonna, kind of just. I think they're gonna shine in that sense. I think they're gonna leverage the nostalgia that they have. Because I saw in chat someone said it's before the times. I feel like this is really only kind of like I feel like we're the target demographic for the most part.
Yeah, no, I think it's
and
alright.
maybe people a little bit older, right? I'm assuming, but most people who are a little bit older probably aren't watching like Twitch streamers, or for the most part. I could be wrong, but I just think that's their demographic. Is
Well,
like
if they're here, they're definitely watching Twitch
millennial-
streamers.
Well, yeah, there you go. So yeah, I think they'll be. I don't think they'll fail. I think there's something here that can be done. Because for all that being said, there's still not a network that fully covers like video games, right? Like there's so much long tail media when it comes to this, right? It's either a Twitch, it's a popular influencer, Twitch streamer, or YouTuber.
But I
There's
feel
not
like
like
there's a
one network,
gaping hole.
except Geeklife, of course. But
I feel like there's a gaping hole for this demographic. It's a lot of the reason why I started Geeklife. It's a lot of the reason why I pushed for Geeklife. Is that there are a lot of gamers out there. Their gamer culture is changing and evolving, and like has stuff that like really doesn't even get seen on mainstream TV. But like is still a very much a lively shaping part of our culture kind of thing. And so this demographic definitely we have enough people here to be catered to. So let's get catered to. Like, why can't we get our feet rubbed? And this was the one place where it had the best content, and I'm super excited for it as well. I mean, like I I definitely can't wait to be able to put G4 on in the background while I'm doing work from home
Yeah,
versus anything else. That's going to be
That's
fantastic.
gonna be dope. And also when I'm back home, just in the fucking abyss that is Alabama, where the internet's shit and everybody still has cable. Because I mean, I think that's also something that's pretty interesting. Is that like places like my hometown and a lot of folks in certain rural areas, they've got garbage Wi-Fi, man. And so it's cable's still pretty strong there, and it's going to be interesting to where like there's still a lot of folks who enjoy gaming that live in those areas, and so it's nice to be able to kind of like catch up with what's going on online even through cable, because there's really not a big outlet for that. So I think G4 has a lot of potential to do some really cool things and kind of like cross those streams of the conventional cable watchers and then us kind of digital nomads, if you will.
Yeah, no, I agree. Is it enough to uncut the cord, Jake? Particularly
No,
you?
not at all. Not at all.
No?
Fuck that. No, I'm not getting cable.
Hulu Live?
Like Kev said, I mean, I watch ESPN all the time. Like I use the ESPN app. Like I definitely like use a lot of like channels apps that they have, and use like logins for that and everything from my parents, if I'm being honest. But like just mainly for sports, because that's all you can really do for sports, right?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those where like this still isn't enough. I'm hoping they do enough online to where I can support them there. Because if not, like, I'm not getting cable for not especially just for G4. Like, I like it, but not that much. Like, fuck cable.
Yeah. Kev, what about you?
Yeah, no, I cut cable a while ago, but I mean, I have Hulu now. I have Hulu Live now, and I had Sling, so I guess it's same. So I'll be watching. I guess I've sort of digitally uncut the cord. I don't know. Somehow they got me. Yeah. In one way or another.
I already digitally uncut the cord with Hulu. When COVID hit and I wanted live news, especially with everything that was going on in 2020. Like I felt like I needed to know what was going on right the fuck now. Then that's when I went to that, and once I got that, like I just got spoiled by being able to like I don't even use live TV for what live TV used to be. I like it so that I can like go to the beginning of new episodes that just came out on TV and start from there and stream it just like I would on Netflix, like that's what I usually like to do in general with it. So I can't wait for G4 to be able to fall into that format. I can't wait for just G4. I've got so many fond memories of it. I can't wait for like live on-air coverage of E3, for that to be an event again.
Oh yeah. That was always one of the best parts of it. Their coverage during times like E3, like I mean, and this is no slight to us. It's just that this isn't our full-time fucking gig. But like we've never been able to cover E3 the way like G4 used to back in the day. And I mean, but mainly because they used to be able to actually fucking go to it. Like I don't want to, like they used to actually get some insider shit. So it's not like
that's some logistical.
There's some logistical reasons. But like their coverage was still better than like anything else. Like I've always hated how siloed some of the stuff can be with like GameStop and IGN or GameSpot, IGN, and like comicbook.com, and like a lot of like. There's a lot of like really great sources out there, but it's always so segmented, and so it's nice to have a channel. It's ESPN for fucking gaming nerds, if we're being honest. If you've ever watched an episode of Sports Center, then you know exactly what fucking X Play and stuff like that used to be. And so like, because it's basically just like what you can throw on in the background and get a lot of really cool news all day.
Off after G4, so like we try to emulate that as best we can. So I'm super duper excited for it. I know we've said that a zillion times, but do you guys believe that they should have been just strictly digital versus focusing on cable at all? Kev, we'll start with you.
I mean, I think they did that with like their soft launch, right, where they're like basically doing YouTube videos and Twitch streams. I forget what the name of it what it was called specifically, but essentially that's what they were doing. And no, I don't think so. Just because of how oversaturated like the digital scene is. You already have sort of YouTubers and like popular YouTubers and streamers that kind of, for lack of a better word, have a lot of stake on that. I think it's going to be hard for a company that's been away for damn near 10 years like G4 just to come up and be like, all right, guys, come watch our content. Because their viewership and engagement wasn't that great on YouTube, if I'm being honest. As far as like what their brand is, right? Like you have a company owned by Comcast, and I mean they have like less than 1 million followers. You know, they maybe got like tens of thousands of views per video, which sounds great to us, but I mean, like for that, like the expectation I think is higher, much higher, especially for, I'm assuming how much their budget, how much money they're spending. So I just think that no, it's not. I don't think it's their place. It's their place to sort of spread their content out and be ubiquitous in that sense. But as far as like that being their focal point, I think that'd be a bad idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree completely. Jake, what about you?
Nelly, fuck yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only person that follows
Oh, yeah, I love
G4's
their
LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, no, me too.
G4's
I'm there for it.
LinkedIn game
It's
is
fire.
top fucking notch.
I'm glad they
It's
grew up
fire.
with us. I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
G4's LinkedIn game makes me feel that G4 grew up with us. Like,
Yeah,
like
and
we're
so
all
I
there
love
now.
their socials. I think they've been doing a great job on that. I think as far as like, I think they know their lane. I just think
Yeah.
they may not know it as good as they think they do in a weird way. And I know that may sound confusing, but like basically like
Yeah.
they think that our generation is all still with cable subscriptions. I just have a
Yeah.
weird sneaking suspicion that they think that like, you know, oh yeah, no, these guys are in their 30s, you know, they're late 20s, early 30s. They're watching cable, right? It's these Gen Zers that are all on their iPads, you know, like, but it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm fucking always online. Like I don't watch cable, right? And so like, I get that, you know, I guess I could be an
Reverse the cut
outlier. And
cable.
it could be anecdotal, right? But I think like, but I think it's good that they're going with a channel. I mean, if all else fails, if they want to move into a more digital realm, they can, you know, they can hire everyone here. They'll have a great
There you go.
start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, I think they know their lane, and their lane was a channel. They ran a TV channel very well, and so I think they're gonna keep doing that, and I think it's gonna make for some good online content too. You know.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's gonna make great online content, and I can't wait to see what happens. And you know, maybe that'll give me more streamers to follow, and like that. Here's the cool thing about that. That gives you the chance to be able to interact with them on stream, in a way that's very, very direct than it would be before.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out. But like that is something that I think is very, very different from the G4 before. So we'll see how that all looks for him. But you know, I think the future is very, very bright for G4. So that's what I'm forecasting. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah.
No, it is.
I agree.
Yep. Well, that will wrap it up for the first half of the show, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going into our deep dive of the value of $60. Then we're wrapping things up with our top Zen, or your top Zen, your top 10 MCU films. So stick around because we've got so much more show coming at you.